Excellent.
Hello and welcome to the Card Deck Creators interview series. Today I'm joined by the wonderful Sarah Pyne, all the way from Massachusetts. And if you look out her window, it's getting dark there, but it's also a snowstorm on its way. So thank you for joining me, Sarah.
Thank you, Ayesha. I'm so happy to be here and
So
talk
before
to
we
you
jump
about the
into
decks. And yeah,
deck stuff, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is you do? And I know that you're an artist because I've seen your artwork, but yeah, what is it that you do? And then we'll get into the card decks.
absolutely. So I have been a wellness practitioner for over 20 years. And currently, I spend a lot of my time doing one-on-one uh, private practice work. I specialize doing work with people who have severe immune or anaphylactic level allergies.
Wow.
Um, and so I have a lot of people coming in to see me who've had a really tough go. And so I've done a lot of work around mindfulness and helping people once they're healed up, also making sure that they are feeling mentally and emotionally in a much better place in their life.
And do you see them in person or can people work with you? Because I'm wondering, there might be people listening going, oh, I could really use Sarah's help. And I can think of some people in my own life who have severe anaphylaxis as well as, other issues. So is it mostly in person or can they work with you online?
With the allergies, it's in person, and I know
Yeah.
you are all the way on the other side of the globe.
Yes.
So
So you have a machine, like other than taking, because I was reading on your website, you
yes,
have obviously the case history and all that, but you have, what's the machine that you're using that
I
does?
have a
Yeah.
yes, I have a machine, a device that uses sound frequency to help with strengthening up the immune system and calming the nervous system down.
Yes, I think I need some of that. I have autoimmune
It's
stuff going on and my
oh,
stomach is a mess. And yeah, so yes, that's why I was intrigued because I've tried a few different, you hold this sort of metal rod thing, um, and and then there's like vials. I can't remember what it's called, but it sort of reads what's working for you or what you need.
yeah, it sounds similar because I am working with sound frequencies.
Mm.
Um, the machine I use stores over 40,000 frequencies. So I'm
Wow.
able to also figure out what's going on, what's stressing the
Yes.
person's immune system. So it sounds
Oh, I'd love
similar.
to have one of those sessions. So I might have to find someone in Australia. Well, thank you. It's fascinating what you do. And then you also do art and write children's books, and you've got a deck on Deckable. Tell us a little bit more about that creative aspect.
Absolutely. I do art, and the art on my deck, I had an illustrator help me with those as well as with my books. Her name is Ross Webb, and she's amazing. Um, and I was called to create these decks because of the type of work I'm doing and trying to reach as many people as I can, friends and family and other people who aren't able to come in and see me, but a lot of people asking me how to kind of take it easy on themselves as they're recovering from pretty severe, maybe immune things or allergy kinds of things going on. And so that's where some of the deck came out of, is this trying to learn how to rest and recover. And I wanted different affirmations to help support that whole way of being, which is kind of counterculture right now. A lot of times we're taught to just push and
Yes.
kind of suffer through. And so I really wanted something out there that had a more supporting message.
Yes. So why don't I'll share your deck. So when I share a deckable deck, I just share the website, and this isn't what it looks like on people's app. So if you haven't used Deckable, do download the app from either Google Play or the App Store, iOS App Store. So your deck's called Resting Affirmation Deck, and what you've just said makes sense. It's like, what do we do after a health crisis, and it's supporting that process. So this is the artwork that the artist did for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, look at that. It's very beautiful. So, did she paint all of these?
She did.
Yeah. So that's a lot of work. How many cards in your deck? 24, is it?
There are 24 cards. Yep.
Yeah. So it's relatively a small deck, but it's so beautiful. So you can see, I'll get to this one. So one side is the image, the shuffle side, and then you get the message. So this is not my job right now. It is okay to rest. Like, beautiful. And how was the process? How much instruction did you give to the artist?
So this was definitely a learning curve, I think, for both of us, because I kept in mind when I was creating some of these images along with her and some of the ideas that we were coming up with, I wanted to keep in mind that most people, when they're this sick, that even reading a lot of text can be a bit much. And so I wanted them to be very visual that way. And I wanted them to also pay attention, the cards needed to pay attention to the fact that the time of day is usually when someone is healing from something. It's hard at the end of the day. Sometimes your sleep gets interrupted. Sometimes it's hard to settle in, or sometimes you're getting stirred up in the middle of the night as your body's healing from things. So I wanted the images to be very calming and have kind of a nighttime feel.
Beautiful. Now, before we started recording, you said that you were having troubles. You'd already, I think, designed the cards, but you were having trouble printing them. Is that what happened? Or tell me a little bit more.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I've now resolved it, but when the images and the words finally all came together, to get everything formatted and to find the right printing for it took a bit longer than I was planning.
Because you didn't have my toolkit, did you? The card deck
No,
toolkit. You came to me
no.
by Deckable. So yeah, if you'd found me earlier, you would have been fine. But
Yeah, so it was a bit of a scramble, and then someone had recommended Deckable. I hadn't even heard of it, but I knew people were using online digital decks, and I love that idea to have it with you wherever you go. Just because we're carrying our phones around with us everywhere. And then I I'm not that tech savvy, except I'm totally game for playing.
I love your
And
attitude. Yes.
yeah,
Growth
so when I
mindset.
found, yeah, so I was like, oh, I want to check out your class. This might be the way to go. And it was. I was so pleased that did that. And
Fabulous.
your class was very straightforward, and I was able to just step by step put everything together, and it looks beautiful. I love the way it came out on Deckable.
Well, firstly, congratulations. You've done a great job. And do you have another deck in the works, given you're very creative?
I do. I probably I do have more, and there'll probably still be more around nighttime resting, and this one might be more about just geared for kids a little bit.
Mm. So I
And
could share your book actually. So tell us a little bit
yeah,
about your books while I get that page up.
absolutely. So I have two books that I've authored. The first one is called Little Beavers of Bower Springs, which um, is actually a family of beavers that doesn't they live not too far from my house that it's a conservation land that I walk to almost every day. And this story is a nod also um, to children maybe not wanting to having trouble going to sleep, and also it has a lot to do with if you have any kind of skin um, issues, anything like eczema, because typically at nighttime is when our skin will kind of show up, or anything that's kind of bothering us during the day.
Mm,
We're able to kind of move through just fine. But as a kid, or even as grown-ups, when you get to the end of the day, that's kind of when all the things you're thinking through or ruminating on or worrying about. And so this story addresses that in a very indirect way, because I'm also a big fan of, we don't have to do everything so cerebral. We can kind of reach our nervous system and calm ourselves down in a very playful,
mm,
imaginative way. And so
beautiful. Yeah.
this story of the little beaver, he does not like having to be a beaver. He does not like having to know the fact that he's got to go into a little hibernation and go into his lodge for the winter.
How
And so it's
annoying.
a gentle, yeah.
I would quite like it, I
And
think,
not wanting, he
hibernation.
doesn't want to miss out on the winter party going on. And so
Yeah.
he imagines what it would be like if he didn't have to be a beaver, and just how his parents are so gentle, and what they do to kind of help him um, ease him into the winter, and let him appreciate who he is.
And with the
So that's,
printing of this, is that with KDP or, and I see I can't buy it in Australia.
yes, it is. Yep, it is
It's,
with KDP.
it's so it doesn't allow me to buy it. Just so, I
Oh,
might be able to buy it on Amazon AU. Yes, there you go. So, yes. So I will put the
oh,
link to
great.
this,
Thank
the
you.
Amazon link under the video as well. I put all your links under. And then you have this other book, Ruthie the Baker.
Ruthie the Baker. And that book is actually based on my sister, Ruth Ann, who is a baker and chef. Um, and it is a story about following your dreams. And even when life gets hard, and this was written right in the middle of during our lockdown that we had around the globe, and how a lot of different service industries got affected, the restaurants being one of the big ones.
Yeah.
And what they all had to do and pivot, and how humans have a way of, when they are able to dig deep and follow their dreams, that we can be really creative and really heal and make the world a better place. So Ruthie sets off as, you can see in the cover there, she's loves to bake, and it's just all she can think about. And one of her favorite things, though, is to bake and create amazing things for people in her community. And so it's a story about what she does to kind of get herself um, all the way living her dream.
Beautiful. So my question with
Yeah.
that, so you're printing, we have a lot of people that want to do books, not necessarily children's books, but books, and I've published books as well. Did you do the layout, or did the artist do the layout of your books?
Ross helped with the layout and the formatting
Yeah.
of those books. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're able to outsource. So you wrote the story and then did a lot of
Mhm.
admin, probably behind the scenes. And yeah, so well,
Yeah.
congratulations. That's awesome. Are you working on any other books?
Um, Currently I am not, although I well, I say that, right? But it's all in my head right now. The next book is actually going to be about being a team player. So I will be putting that together. Also going to be a children's book.
And will you be working with the same artist as well, do you think?
Undecided.
Yeah.
Like I was saying in the beginning of the call, I love to do I love to paint myself and do my own artwork. And I was watching some of your interviews, and I understand that you do a lot of work with AI, and that's interesting to me too.
Mm. And you
So
can do
have
a
you
lot
liked the
of
process?
with my AI generated artwork, I do a lot that is painting like I don't necessarily love realistic stock images. I want thinking
Mm-hmm.
things that are more magical and painterly. So it's getting to a point hopefully soon where we can have consistent characters. At the moment, it hasn't been that good with AI. So that's why some people have done some children's books, but they haven't been necessarily that great. And someone just asked me if I could do one. And I don't feel the technology is necessarily up there, but it depends what the book's about and if you can sort of overlay a character. So the technology is coming for sure.
Mm.
And like I love artists. I have a whole art desk over here for watercolor painting and stuff like that. So there's always, a need for real art. But I feel like with generative art, people like me who couldn't necessarily paint an entire book or do some of the things that I'm creating, my imagination can think of it, but my technical skills don't necessarily match up.
Well, I love that we have all this available to us, and that we
Yes.
can
Choose.
get some really important information out there,
Yes.
and have it be available. I mean, I love that you're all the way in Australia, and I could just look up your course and help me see my deck all the way through to finish. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. Is there any advice that you would give to anyone starting their creative project?
Hmm. Um, yes. Um, I think that we are at a great time to be able to put more and more creative content out there. So, um, what people have in their heads and hearts to say and share, it's an important um, it's an important story, and so don't stop yourself from doing it. Just go for it. It'll make the world a better place by your sharing it.
Beautiful. I couldn't have said it better. We all have this magic inside of us, and now we have so many different ways that we can express that and share it with the world. So I just want to say thank you very much for your time. I will share all the links to your website and your books and your card deck on Deckable. And I look forward to seeing what you create next.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Ayesha. Thank you for the time.
Pleasure. I hope you enjoyed that. Wasn't it interesting? And I hope you got some inspiration and some tips from listening to this. So if you're interested in making your own card deck, I invite you to check out the Card Deck Creators Toolkit that I've created for people like you who want to create their own inspirational, affirmation, or oracle card deck. There's so many different card decks that you can create. So I invite you to check out the links below to get the toolkit and get on your way creating. And if you've already created your own card deck, congratulations. Share a link below. I'd love to see it. Much love to you and take care.